we go. So we're rolling.
Okay. Are we rolling? Okay. Cool.
Rolling.
Can you introduce yourself?
I'm John, my name is John Maus, and at the top I would like to say, because I've done a couple video things now and seen them online, you know, and I just want to apologize from the outset if I'm coming into anybody's life uninvited. You know what I mean? Like you're in the grocery store and some clown face jumps out at you, you know, and you didn't invite it in. So if I'm springing on anybody right now, you know, just turn it away. I'm sorry. I apologize that I came in. A little bit about it. I've been working on it for a couple years. It's not the kind of breakthrough that I hoped it would be. It's more of like a consummation of what the ideas I've been working with for a while. You know, kind of hoping it would be kind of my eroica or something. You know what I mean? Like it's good. It's a good consummation though. It's a good. I know it's like a pretentious mouthful or whatever, but well, we must become the pitiless censors of ourselves. It comes from these theses on contemporary art that this philosopher wrote. That really, I kind of liked them a lot for a long time. They really influenced me. I really was like, yeah, right on. You know what I mean? For a long time, but now I can kind of see, having followed that for a while, where it exhausts, where you kind of you can hit a wall abiding these things so militantly. You know, and so maybe it needs to be supplemented with something else. But either way, it is the philosophy that kind of guided the last 10 years or whatever. So I thought I would use the title. Right in this world we live in, right, where everything is kind of encouraged and permitted, and we're just kind of encouraged to keep saying nothing at all, keep saying nothing at all. Maybe that's what's happening. That the way we can try to resist that is by really struggling to interrupt that by really speaking or something. But let's stop saying nothing at all. How about that? How about, you know what I mean? How about we start there and just try, not that I would claim to, but just raise it up a little bit more towards a better picture or something. I don't know. Like that's the idea. If we just kind of give over to the enjoyment in the community, we're lost. You know, art and thought are ruined or something. You know what I mean? I wish I. Yeah, no, I'm because I'm not at all. I just, you know, I mean, I don't think, you know, advanced degree or whatever. It's not. There's nothing too spectacular about that. It's just a way to avoid a day job for most of us, I think. You know what I mean? Like art, music, these kinds of things. That's a separate kind of trajectory than maybe language and philosophy and this kind of thing. I don't mean to sound cynical or something, but I don't see a kind of language that's arisen to the art of our time. You know, to punk rock music, to genre films. I haven't seen a rigorous thought rise to that level yet, and I'd like to see it. I'm often, I don't mean to sound again cynical or whatever, but I'm often kind of disappointed by the mainstream conversation, for lack of a better way of putting it. You know, I feel like it falls short, and it doesn't. It's not. It's just a little. You know what I mean? But what I'm trying to do is you know, like I'm always saying, something else than that. You know what I mean? To me, by and large, it doesn't seem to say anything. You know, it's this weird thing, right? Like even, you know, it's this weird situation where like there's like a handful of, in terms of like representing the work within our situation, you know, in the mechanisms available. Yeah, you mean like our, yeah. You know, like how you do that today, right? I mean, how we share the work with others. You have to kind of throw your lot in a little bit with this whole regime that's a little bit unfair, I think. You know, we're meant to be grateful that we can appear not even as we are. You know what I mean? Just as this, as a bunch of little images next to each other with their little paragraph, and then the rest of us are just anonymous. You know what I mean? It's like I think we ought to beat down this this terrible discursive regime. You know, this state. You know, we ought to, in the name of each other. You know, and. You know, I mean, it's so stupid. It's not a new idea, but perhaps that's for a reason. It's a good idea. Yeah, classical music and Renaissance music and medieval music and Baroque music, especially the medieval and Renaissance stuff with kind of pretonal. Languages, they're really interesting, but they're separate languages from ours, of course. You know, and the task would be to try to make, if we owe it to these other languages, to try to make ours as radically expressive or whatever as some of the stuff that happens in those other. From those other situations, you know, this suspicion that you know, if pop music or whatever is just kind of its own trajectory, like we have a lot of instruments at our disposal, a lot of these old synthesizers and stuff like that could be mobilized today in really interesting ways. I mean, it's not a question of nostalgia or retro or something like that. It's like a question of this moment right now. They speak. You know what I mean? They afford something that you know, whatever Apple plug-in or something just can't do. They offer something to us that these other things don't, and we should use them if you know, if the work necessitates it. You know. Yeah, absolutely. It's really hard. You know, like I was just recently, I was in a car and I was listening to, like, you know, the radio, listening to one of these old, you know, pieces or whatever, and somebody next to me had headphones on, when they were listening to, like, some, you know, with the periodic beat, you know what I mean? Just, and I could hear that in their ears, and they were listening to that instead of to Beethoven, you know, and something about that, you know, because I would always want to avoid this kind of high and low nonsense that we're certainly beyond, and look at them as disparate truths, as disparate procedures, and not try to judge them one by the other. But sometimes it's hard. You know, they have lots of dimensions that we've completely gotten rid of, like the whole dimension of thematic development and the whole dimension of tonality. Like, oh my God, you just modulated to E flat from C major, or the whole adventure from D minor to D major at the end of the whole symphony, or something like that, or C minor to C major in the fifth, whatever. Do you know, like it was an adventure that you know, the conventions allowed everybody to kind of behold, and we've just gotten rid of those dimensions. But I think that's also about what makes our language so interesting. You know. They'll trouble you. So yeah, I would say that it's not a question. I would never want, like, there's a lyric on this new album, right, where I talk about human beings being in a locker. I wouldn't want anybody to think I'm talking about, like, the Matrix pod or Plato's cave or something like that. Like, we need to emancipate ourselves from a locker. No, we need to go deeper in the deeper caves, and you know what I mean. We're always inside the locker. You know, it's not about freeing ourselves and you know, appearing in the element of our pure presentation or something like that. It's about you know, going in deeper.